What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here, and now that Senior Bowl week is over, I think mock draft season and NFL draft season has really started to kick in. So you know what that means on this site. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming at you guys very soon, but I thought, you know what, post Senior Bowl week, let's get back to the swing of things. Let's go with a little 2023 NFL mock draft. Just one round, and we do have a big trade at the top. I won't waste a lot of your time, but, like and subscribe, get updated on what's coming very soon. But with that said, let's get into the video for this first round mock draft. All right, guys, here, first round for you guys. So, big trade to start this thing. Las Vegas Raiders are going to be the team for now to move up from to 1 from 7. Chicago Bears move all the way back. They do pick up, obviously, 7. They pick up 38, and they're picking up a first and second next year. It's a big haul that the Bears are going to pick up here. Hopefully that'll do them good for the coming years in the draft. I know it's moving back a little bit too far for them to get one of the 2 top defensive players, but I think this will work out okay for them anyway. So we're going to get rolling here. Vegas, they're on the clock. This is, I think, pretty simple for them. I think you're moving up to 1 with a guy with size, with a guy who I think can fit well with McDaniels, who gets the ball out quick, who's decisive, who's precise, accuracy plus throws all over film, and showed a little bit of mobility against the Georgia Bulldogs. As CJ Stroud, we are going to take, quarterback out of Ohio State. Like I said, I think when you look at him, he's not super far off from Young as far as the top quarterback prospect, but I think he just can do so much in terms of, what he showed with mobility. And again, you talk about how good the accuracy is. He's going to play with Devontae Adams. He's going to play with Hunter Renfrow, guys who can get open. He'll get a big-bodied target in Darren Waller if he stays. Like, that's a pretty good situation for CJ Stroud to step into. Houston Texans on the clock at 2. I think we're going to lean Bryce Young here, even though I'm not totally sold on that. We'll see if Houston's okay with size concerns that Bryce Young certainly has. But we're going to make him the pick here. He's just so good and, accurate, sufficient arm to every level. He's decisive. He's a good anticipatory thrower. He's always in control. He's got great poise. He's got the off-script, off-scheduled throws. So everything is there for Bryce Young, and it's a pretty good foundation of the offensive line in Houston as well. Maybe we'll add a weapon later in this mock draft, but I think Bryce Young with DeMeco Ryans, that's a good start for the Texans to finally get themselves back on track. Arizona at 3. I think I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot. I think whoever they hire, whether it be Mike Kafka, whether it be Lou Anarumo, or if there's another guy out there potentially that they're waiting on, I still think this pick's going to be Will Anderson. Again, very interesting scenario with him. The production's there, though. Pressures, sacks, TFLs the last 2 years at Bama. Played a lot of 4-eye. So he's not getting the runway as a pass rusher that others are at the position. And so I think when you look at him, when he plays out there, he's powerful. He's got good technique. He's got some moves, including the bull rush, but he can also forklift guys. He's got great hands, quick, violent hands, great run defender. This is a cornerstone for an Arizona defense that really needs it up front. Indianapolis Colts at 4. I mean, I just think Will Levis is a Colt. I don't think Richardson is. He might be, but I would lean more Will Levis. I think Ballard's going to fall in love with the traits that Will Levis has. Just got to build out consistency in the accuracy and decision-making department. He's definitely got the arm. He can operate play action, toughness, good mobility. Like, that's there. I think he offers you some in terms of finding zones. He's anticipating where those are going. He's an okay anticipatory thrower, but like I said, the poise and toughness, I think, is going to be a selling point, but I think the arm will as well for Indianapolis and that brass in general. Seattle Seahawks, they get a stud here at 5, Jalen Carter. This is a no-brainer for them. Great that he fell to 5 for them. I mean, Pete Carroll talked about how this defense needs, some upgrades. I think they did a pretty good job last draft of addressing a lot of needs and getting a lot of potential cornerstones in place for themselves, but now it's back to the defensive side of the ball. Carter, just a game wrecker up front. I don't care what the production says. He doesn't have the snaps that some of these other guys did coming out of college. He's disruptive as heck. He's flexible, quick twitch, change of directions, unbelievable, incredibly explosive, incredibly powerful, plays with good leverage. He can do it in all 3 downs, and he can move it up and down the line. So does it all. Love his game. Great get by Seattle at 5. Detroit at 6. We're going to go Christian Gonzalez here. I think they're going to lean heavily into the cornerback market. I think Jeff Okudah, Jerry Jacobs, either one could move inside. Okuda may not be here that much longer. We'll see. But again, Gonzalez, great size for the position, really fluid mover, can play the side saddle technique really well, transitions downhill well, great ball skills, great instincts, and a very solid tackler. I think he's a player that Campbell will like to have and that Aaron Glenn might like for the defense. So, again, it's going to be hard to beat that, and the testing is going to be really good. So the Bears moved all the way back here, and I know that at pick 7, you're kind of in a tough spot. What can we do here? Receivers an option, right? But I think tackles probably where they should lean. Get a guy who, maybe a little bit familiar with Justin Fields, perhaps. Paris Johnson Jr., obviously very highly touted recruit coming out of high school. Played right guard in 2021. Moves over to left tackle in 2022. Has some things to clean up in terms of a two-hand punch. A little bit of balance stuff, but he's a tremendous athlete. The Getsy scheme fit is there, no doubt about it. And again, foot speed, change the direction skills to mirror and pass protection. Just let those hands work independently, and I think you have something really special here in the tackle prospect. Atlanta Falcons at 8. This is, I think, pretty simple. You got to get after the quarterback. They've been pretty horrendous at it, honestly, so far the past couple seasons. Let's get Tyree Wilson in here. Tall, long, disruptive edge rusher who I think, is going to bring something that they really do not have on the roster at this point. I think you like Arnold Ebiketie, you like D'Angelo Malone, what they can provide as role rushers, and you got Grady Jarrett. So get Tyree Wilson in there, inject some, top-tier athleticism and traits into this defensive line, and you've really got something cooking potentially next season. Carolina Panthers, they've got Frank Reich. They've got DeGiro Evero. Let's get you a quarterback. Let's go Anthony Richardson here. I just think this is probably the floor we're looking at with Richardson. There is a team, I think, in the top 10 that's really going to like him and fall in love with the player and take him. Again, I think he throws with good anticipation. I think he is a great pocket maneuverer, can look off defenders, and then he has the unbelievable arm. Flick of the wrist, 50, 55 yards. Can throw with touch. Deep balls really good. It was a really highly graded deep passer. We just got to build out consistency with mechanics more than anything. I think the decision-making's fine. I think mentally it's there. He just needs to be less urgent with RPOs. He needs to be more connected top and bottom of his body. But I think it's all there to really flourish in the right spot, especially, young and developing and really getting comfortable with the league. I think Reich is a good steady presence for him. So Carolina gets their QB of the future. Philadelphia 10. Interesting spot for them. I think corners where I'm going to go. I'm going to go Devin Witherspoon. Oh, man. This dude's mentality is awesome out of Illinois. Phenomenal tackler. Limits Yak for sure. He just the ability to close quickly, change direction well, pretty good ball skills, can find it in the air. And he's got some inside-out versatility. If you feel comfortable bringing back Bradbury, could be a luxury pick. Move Witherspoon inside, but he showed immense talent and perseverance, especially in off-man coverage all season long. That's not an easy thing to do, and he did a really good job with it. So he's I think a top 2 corner in the class. Philly gets a good one there. Tennessee at 11. Yeah, I think Peter Skoronski is a Vrabel guy. You have to fix this offensive line first. I know there are receivers on the board. I really don't care. I think Skoronski either gives you a really good guard, a really good center, really good tackle. The arm length, I get the concerns there. The Titans have been playing very traitsy and very athleticism-based with a lot of their picks on the offensive line. You look at Isaiah Wilson, you look at Dylan Radins, you look at Nicholas Petit-Frere, they just aren't working out. Get the powerful, technically sound, balanced guy at tackle and let him carry you. Like I said, Taylor Lewan, maybe not. Maybe he's not around that much longer, so you get a guy who could be a cornerstone while you have Henry and Tannehill still in the building. Houston at 12. We're going to go Jordan Addison here. I think there's a good chance he's the first receiver off the board. I think he's going to run just fine. And like I said, he's the natural separator. If Houston moves on from Brandon Cooks doesn't want to be there for the rebuild. I think you could see Houston just kind of plop. There's the replacement for you. Addison, natural separator, uses his speed really well. Good at leaning into defenders, to kind of create that ability to snap those routes off, lean and separate. He whips the head around on double moves. He's just very savvy all around as a playmaker. Former Biletnikoff winner. Bryce Young to Jordan Addison. That's a heck of a duo in Houston for some time. Jets at 13. We're going to roll Broderick Jones here. They just need to get better on the offensive line. I think Mekhi Becton notwithstanding, maybe they like Elijah Vera Tucker at tackle, and maybe that's where they go. I just think, you have a good athlete like a Hackett offense. I think Hackett is going to be still on that kind of train that Mike LaFleur was on. So I think getting athletic tackles, you don't know about George Fant, like get an athletic player here in Jones, work with Becton. Now you can move Vera Tucker inside where he probably is a little bit more comfortable. Not that he can't be in relief at tackle, but you're building out a stronger offensive line when you have Jones and Becton for 2023 as your bookends. Patriots at 14. Yeah, they got options here, no doubt about it. They would have liked one of the 3 tackles for sure. They don't get one. I'm going to go Joey Porter Jr. Maybe a little bit of an off the radar selection there, just because I think New England will like his ability to impress, how physical he plays against the run. Like he's kind of a do your job type of guy. The zone awareness and instincts are there. You'd like to see him maybe finish a few more turnovers, but again, he's a DB. They don't catch the best. But like I think with how Belichick and probably his successor, Gerard Mayo, is going to want to run things, I think Porter is the type of guy they will covet. Green Bay Packers at 15. It is really tempting to take a receiver. It's really tempting to take a tight end. We're going to stick with Lucas Van Ness here. I think the Iowa guy has the traits. He doesn't have the snap counts totally there yet. This is a guy now who can potentially sit for a year and get in the rotation a little bit for Green Bay, just kind of like they did with Rashawn Gary, 4 years ago. I think Van Ness has the power, bull rush, supremely athletic player. He's pancaked a few of the top tackles in the Big Ten. There's a lot of potential there. That's very much a Gutekunst, even a Thompson type of pick there for Green Bay at 15. Washington at 16. Difficult, a little bit. Offensive line could use some work. But I think, after trading William Jackson, I think we're going to go Cam Smith. I think this makes a lot of sense for them. Get a lockdown corner who I thought was phenomenal in 2021. Took maybe a little bit of a step back in 22, but I still think he can be a dominant man coverage corner. A longer physical guy who I think can transition pretty well. Washington gets another stud for that defense. Pittsburgh at 17. There's some options here, believe it or not, even with offensive tackles off the board. Let's get a little wild. I'm going to go Drew Sanders for them, and here's why. Pittsburgh fans might think this is a reach a little bit. I'm going to say not necessarily. I think this is, the linebacker who can run and chase in space. He can deconstruct from blocks. He's really physical, great instincts, but he can also drop down and rush the passer, and he has shown that at Arkansas. Get a little versatile on your defense. I know there's an Alex Highsmith extension hopefully coming for them. He's done a phenomenal job. But you get a very intriguing, versatile playmaker in Sanders for that defense. That's exciting for Pittsburgh. Detroit at 18. We're going to go Myles Murphy here. I think this is your strong side, big, tough, long, physical run defense, but also pass rushing end. I think he can handle both on 3 downs. Like that's something he's going to be able to do. You can keep Aiden Hutchinson as your rush end. You can bring James Houston on in pass rush situations. And you get a strong hand in the dirt guy in Murphy, who I think has power and length and has a lot of traits. There's not a lot of production there. Might see him dip a little bit in mocks coming soon just because of that. But that's still a good player for a defense that definitely needs to get better. So they get Gonzalez and Murphy. Tampa Bay at 19. A lot of the top corners are off the board here. I don't think you reach at quarterback. Tackle's interesting, but let's get crazy. Let's get Brian Brzee here, who there's a lot of extenuating circumstances with how 2022 went for him. There's a lot of emotion, that he kind of went through. It was just a tough year with emotion and battling injuries. That was heavy for him, no doubt about it. I think the 2021 film is more where you see Brzee as a really strong interior disruptor. Put him next to Vita Vea. Boy, Todd Bowles has a lot in front of him to get after quarterbacks. That's what he wants to do. Seattle at 20. This guy, DJ has him so high on the big board that he knows something about the NFL liking this guy. This is a bigger, stronger, explosive defensive end at like 6'4.5" and 280. I'm going to go Keion White. Since Seattle did not go edge rusher at 5, they got Jalen Carter. Now they get Keion White. So Keion White at the Senior Bowl did a phenomenal job down there. He's powerful. He's explosive. He can move along the line as well. Seattle can get very creative with their fronts if you have a 280-pound Keion White and a 300-pound Jalen Carter that can rush off the edge. There's a lot of interesting possibilities that Seattle can kind of create with those type of players. LA Chargers at 21. Receiver? Possibly. Tight end? I don't think so. Linebacker they could use, but they just don't do that. I don't think they need offensive line unless Trey Pipkins goes, but even still, not tackle. We're going to go Bijan Robinson. Somebody's going to do it. Prove to me it's not the Chargers, honestly. Like, Eckler's a free agent after 2023. Kellen Moore's going to want to run the ball, stay creative with a lot of play action stuff. He gets now a goal line back as well, where Kellen Moore was really efficient in the red zone with Dallas. Bijan Robinson gives you so many things. He gives you an elusive back who can create in space, catches the football naturally, can go up, adjust to the football, make tough catches, but he's just a forced missed tackle machine. Great footwork, can really drop his weight, to accelerate and decelerate, just able to keep himself, square to the line and give himself a lot of options with great footwork. So he's the complete package at running back. The Chargers get him and Eckler to work with. That's kind of like a Zeke Pollard type of thing. And they still have Herbert. You still have more rounds, Chargers, to get a deep threat if you need him. Baltimore at 22. Yeah, it's pretty simple. We're going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba. They keep Lamar here. Like, you have Bateman, who's, I think, a good slant maestro, but he's also a good deep threat post-catch guy. He's got that explosiveness. Smith and Jigba is now your flanker. I think he can play flanker. He doesn't have to specifically play slot. I think he's got answers against press that people, we didn't get to see a lot of it, but I think he had the best answers of the top receivers in the class. Phenomenal route runner, attacks leverage well, can get open, makes the tough catches, right, natural hands, and then great feel instincts and creation after the catch. Also good at identifying coverage, and being able to find space in zone. He can do it all in 3 phases. He's just not fast. They have Bateman to be fast. You have Smith and Jigba to get open. Minnesota at 23. I think this would be interesting. Obviously, they just hired Brian Flores. Let's go Brian Branch. This is probably not what you'd think for Minnesota here, but I kind of like it because it gives you Chandon Sullivan's a free agent. How do you feel about a Caleb Evans? But also Patrick Peterson's a free agent, right? So Brian Branch can also be a slot corner for a little while where he played a lot at Alabama, but also can form the duo with Lewis Cine on the roof down the road once Harrison Smith becomes, kind of long in the tooth, cap casualty, right? So it gives you that flexibility. I know they've invested a ton into defensive back recently in the draft especially. I get it. I think Branch would be a really nice playmaker for Brian Flores. Jacksonville Jaguars at 24. We're going to actually not take Mayer. I'm going to take Dalton Kincaid. Let's talk about this a little bit. Right, Evan Ingram, a free agent. Maybe don't bring him back because you're focusing on Jawan Taylor getting that deal done. So if Ingram walks, which we don't know yet, Dalton Kincaid, really probably a seamless replacement. He's a really good pass-catching tight end. He'll give you effort as a blocker. But where he can really thrive is with the rare quicks, movement in space, create after the catch, great hands, great body control, good catch radius. This is a receiving tight end that will really benefit Trevor Lawrence for the long haul. New York Giants at 25. This is perfect for them. We're going to go Quentin Johnston. They need a big-bodied target with a lot of speed. This is it for them. Brian Daboll can give this guy a lot of opportunities post-catch where he thrives with spatial awareness, with the ability to accelerate and decelerate. He can kind of shrug off some DB tackles. Let this guy create after the catch. Let him win downfield, win at the catch point, and let him refine the route tree while he's working in this offense with Daboll, with the receivers coach. Like, get him up to speed, but let him do what he does best. And that's, I think, what Daboll can do with an offense. Dallas at 26. A tough call here. I think Trenton Simpson makes a ton of sense. I think edge rusher could make a ton of sense, but let's get wild here. I think this is the type of thing Dallas will do. I don't think Jalen Hyatt's escaping the first round. They need another guy opposite CeeDee Lamb. Jalen Hyatt, good hands, good speed, good on his route break transitions, maintaining play speed. Not great after the catch like CeeDee Lamb, but you have a lot of contrasting styles here. CeeDee Lamb, pretty solid route runner, great hands, great body control, probably elite body control, but great after the catch. You have a guy who's great before the catch in creating a lot of space for you in the middle of the field, great speed down the field, big play threat for Prescott. That's a good combination. I think Hyatt would complement Lamb really well. Bills at 27, this is easy. We're going O'Cyrus Torrence. I don't think there's any reason to entertain running back for them, especially with Bijan off the board. Like, they need to get better at guard for sure. Torrence really good in the phone booth. I think he's a better mover than given credit for, so I think you can ask him to pull. I think you can ask him to reach if you need to, but let that man be rock solid, be a brick house in a phone booth protecting Josh Allen. Cincinnati Bengals, 28. You would think Mayer. I'm going to take Darnell Washington. Yeah, crazy. Mayer is the third tight end potentially off the board. Wild. But here's what I think Darnell Washington gives the Bengals. He's an extra offensive lineman, basically. So he helps your run game, 1. He's extremely big, 2, red zone target. And 3, I think he'll offer you the ability to stay in a lot of 11 if you want to. Like I said, he'll be a force multiplier in the run game, but also in the passing game. He can do both. These versatile tight ends, I think, are valuable. Darnell Washington has a lot of upside. He'll probably test well, potentially test himself into the first round. This would be awesome. Burrow, Chase, Washington, Higgins, Boyd. Come on. New Orleans at 29. This could be the Mayer spot, actually, if you really think about it, because Troutman, meh. Jawan Johnson, they may be like. So I'm going to do this. Let's go hometown here. Let's get another edge rusher. Let's get B.J. Ojulari in there. I don't care about the C+ grade. B.J. Ojulari is a really good pass rusher with a lot of moves. Ghost move, dip and rip, bend to win around the edge, inside move, spin, like he does it all. Let him rush, and you're going to get a lot of pressure from him early in his career in New Orleans. It's tough to read them. I think Ojulari makes sense, though. Chiefs at 30. It's really tempting to take somebody like Isaiah Foskey, like Nolan Smith, right? But we need to talk about Orlando Brown and Andrew White. Like, their tackles are bad. Anton Harrison, great athlete, impressive mover in space. He's not going to hurt you in either facet of the game, and he's still got plenty of upside to boot. Like, I think he should be going in the first round. So Anton Harrison there helps the Chiefs a lot, and I think it's good value at 30. Philly at 31. This is a tough one. I could see DeJuan Jones and Darnell Wright being in play here. I could see Nolan Smith potentially being the pick. They like this guy. Let's just take Isaiah Foskey here. I know his stock is dropping a little bit, but I think this is the type of player they'll like because they like Josh Sweat, right, as a guy who, is a really solid pass rusher who's developed over time. Foskey's got moves as a pass rusher, but he's a tremendous athlete, and he's really good defending the run. He's got the length, and he's got the size to do so. Get him in the rotation, continue to flesh out moves, and you've got a really strong defensive line, I think, for years to come. Let's bonus for you guys. Pittsburgh here at 32. I think they could go John Michael Schmitz. I would like that. I know everybody wants corner. Keely Ringo would make a lot of sense here as well. I'm going to audible. I think 3 players are in play here. I think DeJuan Jones is very much in play. I think John Michael Schmitz very much in play. But they might just take a little chance on Keely. No. We're going to go DeJuan Jones. They need to get better at tackle. 6'8", 375. Really impressive player down at the Senior Bowl, even if it's just for one day. Like, man, you need some building blocks on that offensive line. You really do, and that's what I think the Steelers really need to be better. I know that like the Steelers fans are always like, the pundits hate our offensive line. Yeah. Yeah, because it's not good, right? Like it's like a bunch of C plus players and then James Daniels. Get better there, please. So that's the mock draft for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like there. Subscribe if you're new. Talk to me in the comments about your team's picks or what picks you liked, what picks you hated. We're going to have more of these for sure down the line, but there's more prospect profiles that we're going to show out here. There's some film room stuff for a lot of rookies. Got a couple things for Super Bowl week I'm excited about. So there's just a lot coming on the channel. It's been dark for a little bit. We're in the meat of draft season now. It's full go until like probably the 1st of May. So I hope you guys stick around for that ride. I will catch you guys in the next video though. Farewell.